Assalamu alaikum and welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Point. I'm your host, Syed Neaz Ahmad. In our studios today, we have a lady who is a filmmaker, a writer, an actor, producer, a novelist, an idea developer, and you will be surprised how many things she can do and she has done. See, welcome to the show, Leesa. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm okay.
Not at all.
How about you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. See, I know that you were in Dhaka recently, and that is the main focus of today's program. That the rising silence. See, you did a similar thing about sexual violence on Birangana. And this is probably an extension or probably a better production of the same idea, same concept?
It is same concept in terms of the subject, but the treatment and the way we try to tell their stories are quite different.
Right, right. You are also the co-founder of an arts and drama company that you say is Kamala Collective. That was sometime in 2013?
We formed the company, four of us, in 2012.
Right. And what was the object of this Kamala Collective?
We, all four of us, apart from Sohini, she is a musician, Sohini Alam, and three of us, the rest three, we are theatre practitioners. And Sohini also was working in theatre as a musician. So somehow you could say that serendipity brought us together. We started doing different kind of plays for different, theatre companies, and we somehow worked together. And while doing that, we realized that the kind of play we would like to make or we would like to create, that was not happening. Because it's a job for us, so we go, we do our job and that's it. But the kind of story we would like to tell, that was not, we were not satisfied, artistically. And then we thought that if we, form our own company, we would like to do what we would like to do, and also earn our living. That's how it came about, the concept of Kamala Collective, because we wanted to tell stories from women's perspectives.
Right. See, it was gender specific.
I wouldn't say gender specific, because our story, because it's a story, like so in a story, all characters come about. But what we were missing, that same story changes from different perspectives, don't they? So most of the time, what we were experiencing, the kind of story that that were being told in stages, that they were from male's perspective, and that's what we wanted to see stories unfolding from women's perspectives.
As a male, I mean, I probably have a different perspective of things that as a female would have, but I sometimes can't understand. I mean, when I drive, say, I drive as a male person, and the car in front of me may be driven by a lady, and she's driving like as a female person. See, but
how do they? How a female person drive?
They're all right. I mean, if I do not know if it's a female person, I see them as drivers. You see.
Yes.
You see, the aim is to reach from place A to place B and drive safely, and through the shortest route. See, not jumping the traffic lights, you see, and that's it, you see. This is the perspective I see, see. But obviously, I mean, there can be fine differences in particularly in drama and the ethos and the ideas, how you want the message to be transmitted to the audience, you see. I'm sure that that's, you see. You started Kamala Collective, and then you thought that, you know, you will look at things from the perspective of a female, right?
Yeah.
And then you treated sexual violence at home, domestic violence, and all through the lenses of a lady. I don't think this is the subject can be different if I mean the sexual violence or the domestic violence. I see the accused is a male, isn't it?
No, not always. I mean, domestic violence case, I have been very fortunate to be able to work with a company. It's called Face from Theatre. And I worked with them in a domestic violence story, right. And we toured schools that literally changed so many young people's lives. Yeah,
well, I'll talk to you about that in detail. See?
Yeah. So yeah. So domestic violence, yes, maximum women suffered that, but men also suffered from domestic violence cases.
I have spent some time in the Middle East and particularly in Saudi Arabia, but the men are not that much, you know, that not being subject of violence. But I understand that Iraq, the husbands, they do suffer a lot at the hands of their wives, see.
Okay. I wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't know. I did get a job in Iraq, but I didn't go there. You were a script writer and performer of 6 seasons and a golden age at South Bank Center. Tell us something about that.
6 seasons, actually, both the production were Culture Park Global's production. And 6 seasons was not a play. It was kind of what we tried to do is we tried to introduce Bengali music and Bengali poetry. I wrote the script, and there were amazing musicians there, and dancers, and also spoken word performances. So it was combination. It's like an ensemble combination of poetry and recitation and dance. And that took place in 2008, and also then in a couple of years later, Golden Age. Actually, I did the adaptation.
That was also at South Bank Center.
South Bank Center, but Golden Age is written by Tahmim Anam, and I adapted that play from the novel. And that was held in Purcell Room in South Bank Center.
How was it received?
Both of them were received really, really amazingly. And especially A Golden Age. It was the first novel where the backdrop was 71. And the main protagonist is a woman. And it was... And the storyline is quite different. So there were lots of conversation and question and answer after the play. That was quite stimulating for all of us, and we were actually very proud to present a story, at the hub of British culture, and we were really proud to tell the story of our Liberation War.
Great. In 2012, you were a script interpreter for Globe Festival for Tempest.
Yes.
Describe about that. I mean, to me, that sounds something great. See, how did you do that?
It was great. It was amazing. So many plays in different languages came to that festival.
This was in Bengali?
It was in Bengali. Dhaka Theatre came to play Tempest, and my job was on behalf from Globe Theatre. My job was to kind of interpret, because it was Bangla script, you see, and my job was to interpret Bangla and English and how it was interpreted in Bangla and what bits were taken out, what bits were added, and that kind of thing. And I also, because they filmed everything, and I also worked with the editing process and subtitles, and it was an amazing experience working with that setup. Yeah.
Was it simultaneous interpretation, or there were breaks?
Simultaneous interpretation, no. I had to present the script couple of, I think 3 weeks before the actual show took place, because they sent me the Bangla script that was going to be staged, and the original Shakespeare script, and then I had to translate, because 1 or 2 scenes were not in original script. So how that was interpreted in Bangla, why those scenes were.
Mr. Shakespeare was reborn.
Yes, yes.
You were cultural coordinator and voice artist for Akram Khan's Desh and Chotto Desh. See, tell us about that. When was that, and how did it go?
Wow. That was, I think, in 2011, when first I started working.
Before the Olympics?
Yes. First I started working with Akram. I mean, I saw his productions before, and it was a dream come true, actually, when I vividly remember that night. It was 10 p.m. And I got a phone call, and I saw that I didn't recognize the number. And I answered the call, and there he was, and he said, I'm Akram. And I was like, who? And it's like, I'm Akram Khan. And I couldn't believe it. And then he said that this is what we are going to do, a production. We are thinking of doing it. It's about my mother. It's actually about his mother. When we started working on it, then it changes to his father's perspective. It's about my mother and her being here, and the journey that followed through, and his kind of that constant battle between Bengali culture and Western culture.
Drawn between the two.
Yeah. So it was. So we started working. It was just fascinating to see him doing his work.
What was this Desh and Chotto Desh? I mean, there were 2 plays, or?
2, yeah. Desh, after Desh happened, got Olivier Award and all those things. Then Chotto Desh is actually another version, but focusing children. So the same story, but keeping children in mind. So it was adapted, to cater children's psyche, to children's mindset and children's interest, and it was amazing working both the productions, especially Desh. Desh was just one of, I would say that one of my all-time favorite productions, and I'm so grateful that I was involved, and I was involved in a very kind of a unique position, because it's about Desh, it's about Bangladesh, and in Desh, every movement, every kind of history that actually touches us as Bengalis, as Bangladeshi citizens, very sensitively they were dealt in Desh.
Right.
And that was absolutely amazing to see that, and to see that unfolding in Sadler's Wells.
Yep.
And when like middle of the of the dance piece, when you hear Shamsur Rahman's poetry, it still gives me goosebumps. So that was an absolutely unbelievable experience doing Desh with Akram and Akram Khan's company. And then Choto Desh was also very special.
Well, we need to take a break, and then when we come back, we will definitely talk about Desh and Choto Desh.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us. Don't go away. We'll be back soon after this short break. Thank you.